Welcome back, STEM students, to Mampaisan's online classroom. Here's another lecture video, and this time it's going to be the part 3 of kinematics related quantities. Therefore, this is going to be all about acceleration or the rate of change of velocity. Basically, another definition of acceleration is it's a measure of how fast the velocity changes with respect to time. And another thing that we should know about acceleration is that it's a vector quantity. So definitely direction matters here. Now here are uh, three conditions for you to be able to know if something is accelerating or accelerated or not. First condition is a change in speed, meaning, or in other words, a change in the velocity's magnitude. Because, again, remind ko kayo that velocity is just speed with direction. So, for example, an object changed its speed but did not change its direction, that is already called accelerated motion. Now, change in speed can mean from uh, at rest or resting, velocity is equal to 0 or speed is equal to 0, mag-move siya, that's acceleration. O kaya naman, nag-move siya and then nag-stop siya, that's also acceleration. O kaya naman, from slow naging fast or from fast naging slow. All of those are considered a change in speed. Now take a look at the red car, which is initially at rest, and then it will move and then it will rest again. As you will notice, there are changes in speed or the magnitude of velocity. If it's at rest, the velocity is 0 or the speed pala is 0. If it's moving, it's no longer 0. And then if it rested again, it will be 0 again. Usually in motion, we analyze by parts, considering only 2 points. So from rest towards this point, moving, and then from moving towards being at rest again. And as you will notice, there is a change in speed, but the direction is always towards the east for this red car. So this is an example of accelerated motion wherein there is a change in speed but there is no change in direction. Next naman, next condition is a change in direction. Even if there is no change in speed but there is a change in direction, that is also considered as accelerated motion because if since velocity is composed of speed and direction, if the speed changes, velocity changes kahit hindi mag-change si direction. The same goes with direction. If direction changes, but the speed did not change, that is still velocity. Okay? That is still a change in velocity. So take a look at the car again, and let's assume that the car is already moving dun sa position niya na yan, and then it's moving at constant speed. If it moved at a certain direction, just like that, from here, punta siya dito, tapos napunta siya dyan. Obviously, there is a change in direction of motion. Considering that the speed is constant, this one is an example of acceleration wherein the speed did not change but the direction changed. And then the last condition for us to be able to know that something is actually accelerating or accelerated is a change in both speed and direction. Take a look again at the red car, assuming that it is initially at rest, and then again, it moved at a specific direction. So from here, at rest siya, it moved here towards here, and then it rested. So there is a change both in speed as well as direction. So those are the three conditions. So the equation for acceleration would be A is equal to B over T, where A, bold, bold face. So if you're going to write A, in your paper, it could be A, like this. Ganyan. Or A, ganito. Yun. Okay, A yan Yan. And then the B that is also in boldface is the velocity and T is the time of travel. The possible units are kilometer per hour squared, meter per minute squared, or miles per hour squared, or any unit of length divided by any unit of time squared. Okay? But the standard unit is meter per second squared. From here, again, we can get two more equations. If we want to know the uh, velocity given the acceleration in time, we just have to multiply acceleration by time. If we want to know the time given the velocity and acceleration, we just have to divide the velocity by the acceleration. Okay? Here are some questions to check your understanding about acceleration. First question, what happens when an object is accelerating? The answer here is all of the above. If it speeds up or it slows down, that's still accelerating. There is a misconception that acceleration only means speeding up. But no, remember, acceleration means there is a change in speed, even if there's no change in direction. There is a change in direction, even if there is no change in speed, or it can be both a changing speed and direction. Next question, which of the following is not accelerated motion? Okay, let's take a look at each choice. Letter A, a satellite orbiting the Earth. Letter A obviously is not the answer to this question because this is an example of movement wherein the speed is constant but the direction is changing. This satellite actually moves at a specific speed, but since it follows a circular path, hindi siya, ang circle is already a plane, and planes are two-dimensional, meaning the object is already changing as it move around the Earth. Letter B. Letter B naman is a bullet dropped from a tower, which is accelerating due to gravity. Everything that falls towards the ground, as they near the ground, their movement or their speed actually increases. So, pabilis sila ng pabilis habang palapit sila ng palapit sa ground. Okay? So, a bullet dropped from a tower is going at one direction only. Therefore, letter B is an example of acceleration wherein the direction is not changing but the speed is changing. And then letter C, we have a truck moving at 25 km per hour to the west. This is actually the answer. This is a motion that is not accelerated because it is only mentioning one value for velocity or value for the speed. So, same yung speed niya, hindi nagbago. And then, the direction also did not change. So, this one is not accelerated motion. Letter D naman, a ball that is being passed back and forth between two players is actually an example of a body that is accelerating because there is a change both in speed and direction. In terms of direction, syempre, yung bola galing kay Violet Girl, it moves towards the right, and then dahil nagpapasahan sila, si Blue Girl, babalik niya dito. So there is a change in direction. And then we will surely know that these two will not exert equal effort in throwing the ball, which will make the speed change as well. So there is a change in speed and direction for letter D. Then again, ang final answer natin here will be a truck moving at 25 kilometers per hour to the west. Now let's have sample problems for acceleration. First problem is this. The signage on the right can be found in a broomstick store in Diagon Alley. Given the information on the signage, calculate the firebolt's acceleration. Ayan, Potterhead kasi yung teacher nyo, no? So, ito ang example natin. So, what are the given? Start natin. Ayan, highlighted 150 miles an hour in 10 seconds. So we are given the velocity, since acceleration na pinag-uusapan natin, which is equal to 150 miles. mph is miles per hour, and then the time is 10 seconds, no? So here, as you will notice, I decided to convert the time so that our acceleration would have a unit of miles per hour squared. So why did I choose that instead of converting mph or miles per hour to meters per second? Kasi here, it would be easier to convert time compared with converting the velocity. Diba? Mas complicated kasi siya. Kasi the mile, you have to convert to meter, and then you also have to convert the hour to seconds. While if I convert the time, that's just one conversion because it's just second to hour. Ganun lang siya kadali. Madali lang siya. So I chose that. So in acceleration, as you will see, this v or the velocity should have direction. Now, since there is no direction mentioned in the problem, we assume that this direction is actually positive, or the positive, it's going towards the positive direction. So, pwedeng upward ang maging movement ng iyong firebolt, o kaya naman forward, o kaya naman going to the right. Okay? So, we assume that the movement is positive, especially if the value given to you is positive or walang sign. Okay? So, yun, i-assume natin lagi ganun, na papunta siyang positive direction if, there is no direction mentioned. So, now that I've converted the time, for convenience sake, the required is the acceleration. Our equation would be A is equal to V over T. And then the solution, I just substitute 150 mph or miles per hour divided by 2.78 times 10 raised to negative 3 hours. And then the final answer, since acceleration is a vector quantity, this should have direction. But since wala ngang minention na direction and the final answer naman is positive, it also means that the object is going towards the positive direction, or the acceleration is actually positive. Okay? So the final answer would be until 5.339 something, and then I round it up, 5.40 times 10 raised to 4 miles per hour squared. Nakalimutan ko lang isulat yung square dito. So there should be a square here. So the if you're going to to be asked in what direction, in the positive direction, because we know naman if you have watched or read Harry Potter, the movement of the firebolt can be in different directions. Hindi lang naman one directional yan, no? So here, we assume again that the direction is positive. Thank you for listening for the part 1, listening on pala, part 3 of kinematics related quantities. Next, we're going to discuss naman kinematics motion graphs.